Okay. Hi, welcome to Miss Benzie's Math Hawks team interview number 2, and I'm Billie Walters.
I am Susan Patterson,
I'm Ashley Cole.
and we are going to do this.
All right.
These are our 12 vocabulary words here
With the
that went along with our lesson these past few weeks. Okay, first up is going to be Ashley. And let's see, no, Ashley will need to ask Billie.
Okay.
Billie, about how much sugar is consumed daily by one person?
Well, when I was researching this and doing my graph, did you know that Americans consume more sugar than any other country in the world? The average consumption of sugar of an American is 126.4 grams daily. That is about 10 times more than the lowest recommendation. According to the data charted in the bar graph to your right, the beverages are in the lead for contributing the most amount of sugars to the average American. So, like if you're drinking iced tea loaded down with sugar, I mean, you're just pretty much drinking sugar and then the Cokes and etc.
Yes, I like my sugar water.
A lot of people do. Okay. All right. So, me correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Susan. About how is knowing half of the life of the medication beneficial?
Okay. Knowing the half-life of medication is beneficial not only to those in the medical profession, but also to the self-medicating individual. Now, by that, I definitely mean over-the-counter medicine,
Correct.
Not other stuff.
Right.
It can be very critical to one's health to know when to take more of a certain medication or when to wait. This can range from anything as simple as over-the-counter pain relievers, such as the ibuprofen, to the person in charge of your anesthesia at a hospital during operation. These rules also apply to illegal drug consumption. By not being aware of the concentration of medicine in your body, there is an increased risk of overdosing.
Makes sense, yes.
All right. Ashley, what is a 3D column chart?
Well, what I have on my slide are some examples of a 3D column chart showing data from cells by quarters. They're both showing the same set of data. One is just a clustered 3D column chart, which is why one set of data is in front of the other set of the data.
Okay. All right.
What is the recommended fat intake for an adult, Billie?
Well, the recommended total fat intake is about 20 to 35% of calories per adult. And the fats that have the most calories of all nutrients. To be on a healthy diet, you should only consume about 50 to 80 grams of fat each day. Carbohydrates have about 4 calories per gram, and only 50 to 60 of your total daily calories should come from carbohydrates. And then I made a little chart, and you can't really see what it's labeled all the way to the right when it was cut and pasted over there, but that's the percentages of fat intake.
Looks good.
Okay. All right, Billie.
Okay. Susan, what are the benefits of being able to compare two different types of data against each other?
Being able to compare data such as the link between GMOs and autism are beneficial for future research and development of treatments for other medical issues. This type of data helps us to determine what is an acceptable risk or risk factors. While the CDC and FDA may deem a product safe, they have no way of knowing the outcome of the product 10 years down the road. These types of charts compare to compared to other similar charts, help us to study problems to determine the cause and possible solutions. Okay. Ashley, what is the benefits of on access titles?
The benefit of an access title is to know what value is on each side of the graph.
Got that one right. Yeah. All right, let's see.
Okay. Excuse me.
Billie, what are good and bad vitamin D levels among children?
Okay. Well, the graph below that I inserted with the data determines the prevalence of and the risk factors for vitamin D insufficiency among children. A level of 20 milliliters to 50 milliliters is considered deficient and to indeficient for a child. This means the mean is 51.7 with a standard deviation of 18, and a level of 50 nanograms or milliliters to 70 nanograms or milliliters is considered optimal for a child. A level less than 12 nanograms indicates a vitamin D deficiency, and according to the data I collected from the website, that for the vitamin D consumption, it appears that the excess amount of vitamin D is consumed.
Okay.
Okay. Susan, what are some of the advantages of taking this class over a standard college algebra class?
Okay. In this class, we are learning how to apply math to our everyday lives. In our homework scratch paper, we learned how to figure a monthly budget, figure out a GPA, and figure how much life was left in our tires. The financial report, we gained insight on how to decide if a raise was worth it or not. By the end of this class, hopefully all of us will have a better understanding of these simple math strategies to help improve our quality of life.
I agree.
Okay. Ashley, is there a difference between filing single head of household on your taxes with different amounts of pay?
Yes, there is a difference in how you file. As you can see in the graphs, with head of household, you have more left over with your old pay than your new pay. With single, you have more left over with new pay than old, and you have to put in a different tax bracket with filing head of household.
Okay.
Billie, can you give an example of a drug in its life?
Yes, there's many drugs that we could choose from. I just happen to pick the Celebrex. It's a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug used to treat pain. So if you talk about a person that has rheumatoid arthritis that has been prescribed Celebrex, a patient can be prescribed 100 to 200 milligrams twice daily of the Celebrex to treat the pain. And when looking at the chart, you can see that even after 35.2 hours, a person can still have about 10% of the 200 milligram Celebrex in their system. And after about 10 hours of the 200 milligrams Celebrex being in a person's system, half-life of the medication begins.
You know, I spoke with Miss Benzie about getting with her husband to check on one of mine. It was Fosamax for bone density. Do you know that stays in your system for 10 years?
Wow.
You're kidding. Wow.
No, I would not have thought that.
Me either. It's amazing what you learn.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Susan, I have a question for you. Do you know where your tax dollars are going?
Through pie charts such as this one, we can get a better understanding of how our tax money is being spent, and having this knowledge is actually very important. We were able to see where and how much of our money is going to each cause. When we have an issue we need help with, we will know exactly who to get in touch with for help. For example, You wouldn't contact the state of Arkansas for questions about what money is being spent on national defense. You also wouldn't contact the federal government about your state's educational system.
Yeah, good points.
All right. And Ashley, what would you use a pivot chart for?
You would use a pivot chart to build a list of unique values. This chart is a good way to quickly see all the values and find typos or inconsistencies.
Okay. Ashley?
How is data displayed in a scatter plot chart, Billy?
Okay, the chart what you're looking at on this slide is a scatter plot chart, and this chart is made up of data collected that has been displayed at the right, sorry about that. In the year 2012, the percentage of all the crops on the chart were very close in percentages, and in the year 1999, according to the scatter plot chart, the GE cotton took a jump to about 79%, only to fall back to 60%. You can see that there on the chart. It appears that the GE cotton had the largest growth of 86% for the year of 1996 to the year 2012. Third is the GE soy, and last would be the GE corns. I calculated my figures by subtracting the percentage of the year 1996 from the percentage of the year 2012. So basically, the scatter plot chart lets you compare things from year to year, just time. Okay, Susan, does being able to chart data over an extended period of time provide any benefits at all?
Yes. Being able to compare data over a specific time frame helps us to determine if measures put in place to acquire a specific result is working or not. For example, oh, sorry, that was my kitty. An example of what type of information collected could be if seatbelts really help reduce the number of fatalities, or does education in prisons really help in cutting down on repeat offenders? This could also help determine where our tax dollars are best spent.
I could see, yeah, helpful. Okay.
All right, Ashley, what is a bell-shaped curve?
A bell-shaped curve is a graph that represents the distribution of value, frequencies, and even probabilities of a set of data. The bell slopes downward from a point in the middle, which corresponds to the mean value. This graph shows the ages 16 to 24 of texting and driving data. Billy, can you explain a little about alcohol consumption and reaction time?
Yes. As one consumes alcohol, the brain function is impaired by the overall depressant effect of the alcohol. Once the alcohol is in the bloodstream, it quickly spreads through the body, causing a delayed reaction. The chart that is displayed on this slide to the right shows the reaction time in seconds in adult subjects' blood alcohol level of 0.8. This means the mean reaction time of someone with a 0.8 blood alcohol level is 2.4 seconds. Anyone with a blood alcohol concentration above a 0.08% is really just considered too drunk to drive.
Good to know.
Okay. Susan, why is it important to know what the mean and what the median and the standard deviation terms are?
In my opinion, these three terms are very important for everyday life. They can be helpful in something as simple as children learning to divide candy correctly, or more complex as calculating the blood alcohol content of a person. Standard deviation can help you determine what data is out of the normal range. An example would be students taking a math test. You would want to find the mean of all students, then tell how large or small the standard deviation is from the other test scores. All right, Ashley, what is the difference between male and female impaired driving fatalities between 2018 and 2019?
Well, if you look at the chart, you can see they're both pretty high, but the males have taken the lead with the most fatalities in 2018 and 2019. Female fatalities in 2018 were 11, whereas the male, it was 27. And in 2019, male fatalities jumped up to 44.
Wow.
Okay.
Amazing. Okay. Well,
All right.
all
I
right.
think this concludes our second presentation.
It sure does. Okay. Goodbye, Miss Benzie. We are going to stop recording. Bye.